Hello and welcome to Art with Mrs. Beaufeaux. Today we're going to be discovering the beautiful textile artwork of the Hmong people. Behind me you see two-story cloths. We're not only going to be talking about this style of embroidery, but also about the beautiful clothes that they wear for special occasions. Let's get started. We know from a previous class together that April is Hmong Heritage Appreciation Month. So we're going to be looking a little more into the stories behind the Hmong people and their beautiful tapestries and artwork. The beautiful outfit you see behind me was made for a child, a baby actually, and it was given to me by my sister-in-law who is of the Hmong culture. I want to show you some amazing details woven into the fabric, which tells a very interesting story about the Hmong culture and how they were able to use their artwork to transfer different stories of their people. The Hmong people include different designs and ideas within their embroidery on all of their costumes. We're going to go more in depth into some of these design ideas in the next clip. Second outfit that I'd like to show you, which has some really cool designs that again tell a story of the Hmong people, where they came from and where they're going. This beautiful display of the Hmong heritage, you can see a lot of different designs that we're going to be working with in our projects. Right here, if you look closely, you can see those rick-racked stairs, and right in the center you can see the symbol that is signifying the rice flour and the rice seeds. In the center, I want you to notice how there are all these little triangles. Those are representative of the mountains in which some of the tribes of the Hmong culture lived. As more immigrants came to America, different portions of the outfit have blended from the many different tribes of the Hmong culture. Something that's cool about this one is that it has the front apron, but it also has the back portion as well. With me, I have two story cloths to show you today. Each one tells a very different story and uses the art style of textual embroidery. Originally, the Hmong people used to do a lot of geometric patterns in their embroidery examples, and around the 1970s, something interesting happened. As they were kept in different places like refugee camps after the Vietnam War, the story cloth started to change. Instead of showing those traditional patterns, people started telling stories about their lives, what they have gone through, what their life back in Thailand, Laos, and China originally looked like as a way to preserve their heritage. Really wanted to point out about this specific story cloth are the different stories that are involved. You can see it's kind of like the Grandma Moses primitive art style that we studied previously in 4th grade because it tells a story all in one image. Over here is, I think, my favorite part where she's feeding the chickens. You can see over here somebody is feeding a different type of animal. To me, it looks like a boar. Right in this area, you can see it looks like a man is driving like a human-powered crusher to make the rice into rice flour. And again, over here, you can see the same thing with a different machine that was used in their traditional lives. At the bottom, you can see people who are gardening. In our area, we have a lot of people who are originally from Thailand and Laos who are of the culture of Hmong. And we have first, second, and some third generation Americans starting. Something that we noticed a lot within the culture is that they've brought their ideas associated with gardening and utilizing the earth and its resources to help better serve their families and their communities. As I've said previously, the story cloths tell the story of the people, and it's made by an individual who is telling their individual story. This next story cloth that we're going to discuss has some hard images in it, but I think it's important that we discuss and understand the story behind the culture of Hmong people, how they came to our area. After the Vietnam War, some Hmong people were persecuted because they were helping the American soldiers live and survive in the jungles. This image shows a lot of that story. So over here you can see their village with their 3 different houses, and you can see a member of the Viet Cong army actually setting one of their houses on fire. You can see people going about their everyday business right here. They're making food, taking care of a baby, doing some gardening work, when you can see some soldiers come upon them. Over here, this is a visual representation of the Mekong River, and you can see 3 different characters who are trying to cross the Mekong River to find a refugee camp where they will be safe. And over here we see 2 people, a traditional dressed woman and a traditionally dressed man, being stopped by a policeman on their way to safety. We've spoken a little bit about the Hmong people and their culture. We're going to talk about the style of embroidery that we are going to be using within our own art classes. Art classes, you guys made sketches of what you're going to be doing, and I went and found all of this embroidery floss. I picked up a lot of needles for us and many different colors of fabric. Today we're going to be ironing out the pieces. We're going to cut them so that they're in smaller sections so everybody has a designated piece. You're going to be transferring your image to your piece of fabric using first a light pencil, and then you're going to move on to using one of the needles and the embroidery floss. I can't wait to see what you create for me today. In today's video, we just discussed and discovered more about the Hmong culture and how their art style was so transient. It was able to move along with them. Prior, we have spoken about how anything that's in a fabric form is easy to transfer because you can fold it. If it gets wrinkled, it's pretty easy to move, whereas with a piece of paper or a canvas, transferring it can sometimes break or chip off the artwork. So I'm excited to see what you guys create today. This has been Art with Mrs. Beaufeaux. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.